Welcome to the Indie Dev Super Show.
Thank you so much for having me. How are you both doing?
Fantastic. This has been such a fun time, and thank you for being part of this, man.
No worries.
I'm tired.
You get to go to sleep for so many days after, like an hour from now, Kitty. It's good. You'll be fine.
As the Brits say, you're probably knackered. Have you heard that phrase before?
I think knackered's a good description of Kitty at this point.
Yeah, knackered being very tired, yeah.
So I'm staring at your game Regency Solitaire right now. Is that how you want to progress with this show at this point?
Yeah, basically we made this and shipped it at the beginning of last year, and it came out on Steam in May last year. And now we're working on a prequel called Shadowhand, which we'll take a look at sort of in a minute after you've had a look at this, because we've developed the concept quite a lot on from this game, and it would be quite interesting to see the difference.
So I would like to not embarrass myself horribly here. Do I want to put this on normal or hard?
Yeah, just go on normal.
Okay. This is gonna be bad.
Have you heard anything about this game before?
No. The only thing I like to do on this channel is like to make sure the game functions, and then I go into it live with everyone. So I have no idea what to expect outside of the word solitaire.
Okay then.
So I'm gonna hit play. So you've made I mean, I was assuming I was just gonna play solitaire. So this is the whole story along with this. England 1812.
Yeah. King George III I mean, that's basically the point of this game is if you heard of Jane Austen and Pride and Prejudice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's no zombies in this one. No.
Okay, not the zombie version. Okay, good.
No. But this is basically a story in that vein.
Do you have Mr. Darcy?
We have an equivalent, and we have an equivalent sort of horrid guy. You'll see him in a minute.
Nice.
Here's our handsome suitor.
I've also been watching a lot of Downton Abbey. So.
Oh yeah, there you go. This should be right up your alley.
Bella's hopes have been dashed.
Oh no.
Her foolish brother Edward.
No, Edward looks skeevy.
He's a pretty silly guy.
To her odious neighbor.
And that's the dastardly Mr. Bleakley.
Good name. Good name.
Can Bella restore her family's wealth and reputation? And will her dreams come true?
She better be good at solitaire, apparently.
Yeah. So basically, this is a visual novel sort of combined with solitaire, but not solitaire like Windows Solitaire. It's a different kind of solitaire where you can have all these interesting level layouts, and we've got all of these power-ups and special cards and stuff you couldn't do with a normal deck of cards. So yeah, click on the first level and see if you can get to grips with the basics, and then we'll see how we get on from there.
Awesome. Yeah. So there was like I think there was a puzzle game on iOS that I played that was kind of the equivalent of like having a crazy lore story, and then basically the gameplay itself was just like a take on like Bejeweled, but it also added power-ups and everything to it, and then you actually had like boss fights and things like that, which is
was it Puzzle Quest? Or
I think so.
one?
Yeah, I think that was Puzzle Quest. It's been a long time since I played that. So.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool game. Actually, that's more like what Shadowhand is like, which we'll look at in a minute.
Okay. Bella and Papa are having a conversation at this point.
We've already got questions popping up in chat.
Oh yeah, I see them.
Is your voice in the game? That's the first question.
No, it's not my voice. We actually hired an English voice actor who did a really good job. I had a kind of placeholder one, but I'm not a pro. This guy was a pro, and you can tell by his smooth tone.
I won't do it. I mean, normally I do read all the voices in a game because normally I'm on a cast by myself, but now I feel really awkward with you guys in the channel or in the cast. So I'm not going to do all these horrible British accents that I could probably think of in my head.
Well, a fair few people have made videos of Regency and have done,
all the voices.
Some pretty interesting voices. Let's just put it like that.
I think if Curly does a horrible English accent, I think Jake would have to like try to do a horrible American accent.
Oh yeah, that's true. I could do. Yeah, we could pretend the mother's American, just like in Downton Abbey, right?
Yeah, right.
We must consider your wardrobe or something.
It doesn't sound like that. Okay, well, we have a game now. The basics. Click on the tablet card. One number higher or lower than the face-up foundation card at the bottom of the screen. Note an ace can go on the king versus. Okay. Sweet. Wait, don't they have to?
Yeah.
Draw start. There are no more valid plays. You need to draw from the card pile. So then that goes there, and
You need another stock card.
okay,
Oh, no, nothing there. Get another one.
okay. So I just have to keep going up, right? Yeah.
Up or down.
Oh, okay.
It just has to be a consecutive number.
Gotcha.
I really like that mechanic. I mean, that's a fairly standard solitaire thing to have for this type of game, like building in that kind of a way. But I love the rhythm of it.
Yeah, it's a mechanic called golf solitaire, and yeah, you basically keep going with these runs, and you can get sometimes a really long run of cards, and that's what you're doing now. You're building up a combo.
Yeah.
And the bigger combos you get more multiplier, which gives you more gold at the end of the game. So, well, at the end of the level, which you can spend. Which
What do you get? What can you spend on? I mean,
you get to upgrade your ballroom
oh,
and your outfit, which is
the most important thing.
a pretty key part of this game. Everything you upgrade affects the gameplay. So every single item you stick in the room or jewelry you wear and so on gives you new mechanics in the gameplay and power-ups. Hey, you're doing pretty well. You've got the hang of it.
I'm worried I'm going to lose at some point. These last couple cards are gonna.
Well, it is solitaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is possible to lose, but this level is pretty easy. Oh, you
The
missed.
undo button. That's what I was wondering what that one was. There you go.
Yeah. Now you've got no undos left, so no more errors.
Gotcha. Is there a time constraint at all to playing it? I can tell you,
No,
like,
there is-
you want to kind of go fast with it, just as a
Yeah.
feel to it.
People do, but later on you have to strategize quite a lot to figure out what's going on.
Because that's what gets me is I've played Solitaire plenty of times, and I always, most of the time you lose. At least that's the way I play it. I lose, but I think I'm fundamentally missing something about a strategy in Solitaire.
I found actually you submitted this game that we're playing, not Shadowhand, but this one to the Supershow last year.
Oh, there we go.
And- Yay! And I ended up leaving it up on one of my monitors. It like spent lots of time on my monitor because I could just come back to it whenever I wanted to,
There you go.
which I loved about it.
It has very high play times on Steam. I mean, the core game's about 15 hours to beat. Plus, people then go back and play it in hard mode, and so that's at least another 15 hours. So people just play it for a long time. They love it, really. It's just a sort of casual game you can pick up and play when you want, but as you say, there's a lot of depth which comes in later on. You're doing pretty well here.
Has the fact that it's got a kind of I hate the term, but kind of like a feminine draw to it. Do you feel like that's sort of been a really difficult thing to get around for being more accessible to or approachable by men?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to be honest, well, the game was my wife Helen's idea, and I knew that it was a good idea for the market we were mostly selling in, which was the casual download market, which is companies like Big Fish Games, iWin, and Real Arcade, and so on. And those are primarily women aged 30 plus, up to 70, 80 even. And so, and we know that, sort of romance novels and Jane Austen style stuff, that is the kind of primary demographic. So we don't mind, we made a game that appeals to people who are into that sort of stuff, which does include some men, just not as many as women, right? I mean, I like costume dramas, I like doing cosplay, and I like Downton Abbey. So this sort of game for me was really good fun to make, and some guys play it and love it, and some are very surprised at how much they like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's great that you are definitely kind of the market that you're making it for, and so
Yeah.
you're not really surprised. But the reason I ask that is because Shadowhand seems to have. I love that it has this kind of female protagonist, but it's much less pink, I guess.
Yeah,
is the way to put
for
it.
sure.
Is that something that you kind of did consciously? Did you try to open that up more for everybody, or?
Yeah, absolutely. What happened is this was mostly sold on the casual portals, like I said. We put it on Steam, and it got quite a lot of press because people really like the game. But it's not doing super well on Steam, I think, just because of your typical kind of Steam audience. Oh, have you set that as your wallpaper?
Yeah, I wanted to see if it would actually do it. I just changed my whole desktop background.
There you go.
I can't afford the white gloves, and I'm angry.
Yeah, you'll be able to soon. It's deliberate. It's game design.
Okay.
So you want to keep playing, and then you better get them in a minute.
Sure. And so this is an original story that you wrote for this and everything?
Yeah, my wife wrote the story. She researched the characters, all the objects. We went to sort of like historical houses and stuff to take photos and museums, and we did loads of stuff. It's not just all made up. Well, it is all made up, but you know what I mean. It's based upon historical stuff.
Period piece, yeah.
Mostly. But yeah, so going back to your question, Alex, we knew this did well, but it wasn't really a sort of big seller on Steam just because of the vibe, I guess, right? But people loved the mechanic, and whenever they played it, they loved it. They just weren't necessarily into the theme. So we said, let's get... Helen had this idea for a highwaywoman, and I came up with this idea of combat as well via Solitaire, which has never been done before. We'll look at that in a moment. And so, we thought that this theme would appeal to men and women. Okay, or boys and girls, although it's a bit violent, so I don't know whether we want little kids playing Shadowhand. But we thought that the new game really does appeal to a much broader spectrum, and it's got a darker vibe, less pink, as you say. So, in fact, the artists who've done the same art, they did the art for this game and Shadowhand. We had to keep telling them to stop making things purple and pink because they just sort of do it automatically.
They just got so used to it. Oh,
I know, yeah. So
I know that it's you and your wife primarily.
Yeah.
Taking the head, but you said that you have artists. So what kind of team size do you have for this? And then we can do a transition to Shadowhand or whatever you like.
Sure, yeah.
Talk a few more points about this game.
Okay, sure. Yeah, basically, the core team is myself and my wife, and I do the sort of programming and the project management and the sort of biz dev stuff. Helen does the writing, the research, helps with the design, lots of stuff really, and we work together as a team on coming up with, special objects for the game and characters and all this kind of stuff. But we hired an art team to do the art. They're called Retro Style Games, and they're based in Ukraine. And there's a musician from Holland, and I did the sound effects myself for this one. Although we're hiring a team for Shadowhand, not that there's anything wrong with these ones. It's just save time really, and also maybe to up the quality even more. So
was I supposed to be able to find a statue, or is this on the whole chapter?
Keep going. It's the whole
Gotcha.
chapter. Yeah.
Okay.
Some people do get confused by that, and it makes me wonder if I should have messaged it differently.
It made sense once I asked the question because I realized that there was the 3 hands and it said chapter, but immediately I was like, "Wow, I was supposed to find something."
See if you can figure this out then.
So I'm assuming that.
There you go.
Okay.
That was very simple, but it's just to introduce the idea that of how that works.
It's weird. So yeah, you need to see the cards underneath as well too. It's different.
Well, the idea is if you can see the cards underneath, you can sort of plan ahead a bit.
Yeah.
As to what's going on, and later on you get power-ups which turn over more of the cards, so you can really strategize if you can see further ahead.
Absolutely.
You used a wild card on the last level, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Cool. So you figured that one out.
Helped the combo go through. It was a 9, I think.
So I played Shadowhand a little bit, and if I recall, it actually takes place timeline-wise before the events of this game.
Yeah, this story here is mostly about Bella and her sort of extended family as she sort of goes on this romance. And her godmother is Lady Fleetwood, and she's about 60-something in this game. And Shadowhand is actually about her 40 years ago. Okay, so we've got an intro movie which we've got planned, which hasn't made it into the demo you're going to play, where she talks about 40 years ago when she was a young lady, sort of the exploits that she got up to at night as the highwaywoman Shadowhand. So even though she's a sort of dear old lady in this game, she's got a sort of interesting past.
That's really
She's
cool.
a bit of a badass auntie, I guess.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. You wouldn't want to mess with her, basically. She's probably got a secret stash of weapons somewhere in the house as well. And
the term for the casual gamer does get thrown around negatively a lot, but I know so many people that aren't necessarily what I would consider like me and the guys I had on here a second ago, but they would love. I love games like this. My mother loves games like this, like completely, and to throw an interesting story on top of it is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a totally different pace from the game you've played before. And, I like all sorts of games. I'm playing Dark Souls 2 at the moment on the console.
Yes.
I play FPS games. I play casual games. If a game's good, it's good, right? And you feel like different games depending on what mood you're in, you see.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like a hardcore gamer can't also play casual games. You are both.
Mm-hmm.
It's not you are a duality, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Depends what sort of mood you're in. And the funny thing about casual gamers is, I've seen a lot of surveys actually done by Big Fish Games and so on in the past. And some of these casual gamers, they don't call themselves gamers. They don't relate to being a game player. But if you look at the stats, they actually play games like 15, 20 hours a week, some of these people. And also they purchase, multiple games a month. And they just blast through them and then buy the next one and blast through that. So they're actually hardcore gamers. They just play casual games, right? So, they play games more than maybe I get to because, I've got a job and kids and everything else. So, oh, well done. You've got the statuette.
I'm getting scared here, though.
I would love to. I mean, it's totally up to you, Jake. You can shut me down on this, but I would love to get into Shadowhand.
We can do that.
I'm busy right now. Sorry, I'm playing a game.
If he just beats this hand, then we'll go into the next the ballroom, and I'll just explain about one thing there, and then we can sort of transition out. Yeah. Yeah. Good job. You're getting the hang of it now, right?
We'll see if it's a good job. I don't know if this.
Ooh.
Oh,
bad luck.
Oh, shame. For shame. I got my statue though. I'm fine.
Yeah, cool. So you can skip the story for now. We'll let players play this and find it out themselves. Okay. So one of the power-ups you've got though, you see that Cupid statuette there?
Yep.
Yeah, if you get that actually powers up the room. So you've got an object there. And by the end of the game, this whole room is painted and it's got all these fancy decorations, a chandelier, a feast table, musicians. It's all ready for this kind of crazy ball. But everything you get, there you go, has an effect upon the gameplay.
Turns over 50% of the face down cards at the start of each hand. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not just purely cosmetic. But what you'll see in Shadowhand is we've replaced this ballroom scene with basically a standard sort of RPG inventory system, because that's all this really is. You're collecting items, but they decorate a room here. But it's the same kind of thing. They have an effect upon the gameplay. So yeah, we can go and. Did you manage to download the Shadowhand?
Yep.
The latest.
Got it from your server directly.
I do have a confession to make about Regency Solitaire, which is I never bought her dress.
What?
Oh, you mean you just played the whole game with her sort of nudie?
Yeah, I just had to. I was like, they let me do this.
She should get some kind of bonus for that.
Oh God.
Yeah, well, she wasn't very nudie, as you know. She had a really long sort of undergarment on, and maybe her ankles were exposed or something.
A dress slip. But yeah, so I figured that gave her a little bit of an upper hand trying to pick up this hot guy she was trying.
It may well have been a bit scandalous. I'm not sure. But you probably spotted that when she came on in the story scene, she did have clothes on. So
I'm sure you assumed that nobody would be as strange as that. I like to break games I play a little bit.
Well, I bet somebody would do this, and now I know who's done it. It was you.
It was me.
Yeah, thanks.
So oh, that was my fault. Okay.
Yeah, you should have the latest link I sent you an hour or two ago. Helen's joined us, by the way. She's called BC Heza, and you can see her on there.
Yeah.
Yep. I modded her as well, so she has a little sword next to her name. So
great.
She's important.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've missed any questions here. I've been kind of absorbed.
She's been on it. She's ready.
Oh, good.
She's been answering all the questions. Yeah.
It's a team effort on and off Twitch.
Do you want to actually, while Curly loads this up, do you want to just kind of talk a little bit about what it's games together because
yeah.
we're an indie dev couple too, so it's always.
We're actually, I don't know if anyone's in the UK, but there's a show called Resd coming up in London, and we're doing a talk there, working together as a couple.
Awesome.
So that should be quite interesting. But basically, when Helen told her friends that we were going to be working together, they were like, working with my husband would drive me insane. But luckily, we've been together for 15 years, so we know each other pretty well. And we've got sort of overlapping skills sets and different skills, which just do work together for making games. But we've got separate offices, which is like super important as well. So we can sort of retreat back to our own spaces, do our own thing, and then go and have a meeting, and then go and get on with work. So, mostly it's been fine. There's the odd sort of like argument, but
No, that's exactly the same thing that happens to Robot and I. Everyone's like, how could you work together and not kill each other? And
they just kill each other all the time.
Oh, that is the other option, I suppose.
I really enjoy it.
The saucy grandmother Shadowhand. Look at this.
I know. Yeah, this game will have an intro movie eventually, which explains sort of what's going on, but there isn't one of those at the moment. So you'd be able to just get started, and you're going to start on
Lady Cornelia Darkmoor finds herself alone in the woods.
Yeah, she does. Basically, there's a crashed coach which she's got out of, and her friend has run off or disappeared into the woods after the coach was held up by a highwayman. So this is Lord Fleetwood. So she's called Lady Fleetwood in the future. So
I like that you really seem to you enjoy these characters as much as a big fan of the.
Yeah, well, we're into making games. We're both history buffs, and we really like sort of watching history shows and going to museums and stuff. And so this game is a passion project, and hopefully something which people will want to play. So he lent you his gun.
Yeah.
Good.
And so this looks like a Magic the Gathering style card, or
right. It's basically what we call it, a card battling adventure game, because it still has this solitaire core, but you've got all these collectible cards and you've got combat. So there's a whole load of stuff which is quite different from Regency Solitaire. You still got these kind of basics like Regency. We could actually skip this level if you want, because you know how to play this now, right?
Yeah.
So if you hold down Control and tap J, I think it will skip to the end.
No stars.
We're going to get rid of the star system. It's still got some of the UI and stuff from Regency. This is very early, okay? But the game's going to hopefully be out later in Q2. Okay, here we go. This is what's different.
There's a battle system at this point.
I'm so excited to see how everyone responds to this, because I think it's fascinating.
Do you? Okay, from a game design point of view, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I can.
No one's done it before. You think Puzzle Quest, right? You need to get a run of cards, and then you can shoot that dude when you've charged up your.
I see. Okay, can I shoot now, or should I keep going with the combo, or?
Well, if you could shoot now, but if you keep going and get a combo, you'll build up basically a critical hit. So it's always worth trying to get a bigger combo if you can. Notice we've got rid of Jack, Queen, and King, and we've got sort of 0 to 9, and that's to sort of move it as far away from traditional playing cards as possible. And even you shot him good. Even in some of our
look
tests,
at him go. Sorry, he's terrifying.
he's a pretty good AI. We found that some younger players didn't even know that a Jack was comes after 10, for example.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to have to educate people with that. So we've just got a simple numeric system.
Wow.
And different suits, which later on have an effect upon the types of weapons you've got and so on.
So that's all right. We were stuck for a moment, but
yeah, sometimes basically you don't get to charge your weapon up, and that's the equivalent of rolling a dice and getting a miss. You know what I mean? So this is turn-based combat where you replace dice with getting a run of cards instead.
I love that you have this competitive solitaire because you're sharing this board together with this combatant that you're fighting.
Yeah, not only do you have to think about your moves, but you have to think about what you're going to leave him with.
Right. Yeah, there's a little bit of that kind of strategy involved. Like, do I want to leave this card on the board? Will that reduce their chances? Or
exactly, and there's a whole load more of that stuff later.
So I see this. So the knife, it only takes 3 charges and it does 2 damage, and then the pistol takes 4 charges and then does 4 damage.
You got it. There's clothing you'll get later on. Okay. You can wear whole different outfits.
Sorry, Kitty, we can't make her naked right now. I know that you wanted.
Oh yeah, she's got a base level of clothing, but you can add stuff on top. Later on, you'll get gear, which is like bombs and potions, and abilities, which are special abilities, passive ones, which happen all the time, and active ones, which are kind of like instant cards in Magic. So there, you've got a special active ability there, which is this charging stallion, which we can see how that works in a moment.
Okay. That charges to 40 though.
Yeah, it takes a long time. So this level is the same layout from Regency at the moment. We're going to change all the levels. You've got a spare card there. If you pick that up, that's your sort of wild card equivalent.
Gotcha. So you flip back and forth between the fights and the actual normal game, right?
And what will happen on this is you'll have to do things like collect components to make a grog bomb, or find keys to get out of jail, or dig graves for treasure. So we've got a mixture of both. And one of the things we need to play test really is to see, what balance that should be in. Should it be more normal levels, more combat levels? We could do all combat, but that really does change up the whole game. And we want sort of some pacing in there. So these are like your exploring bits in an RPG where you're exploring around before you get to the combat.
I absolutely appreciate that, because it allows it to break it up between the high stress combat, because that felt a little stressful right there for a second.
There you go. So at the moment, when you click the horse card, it just had some lightning. That's because I haven't finished it. But the horse will charge across and the cards will drop off. And you'll be able to choose 3 different abilities to have down there out of a suite of 8. So it's a bit like mini deck building, and the same with passive abilities. And in fact, your whole inventory on your character is essentially deck building, because you'll choose this weapon, this outfit, and so on. Oh, will we get a card?
Come on. And death. Awesome.
Oh, unfortunate.
Yeah, I told you, I not the best at the game. Battle number 2, but Madam Mercy.
Yep.
So
she gave you a load of stuff earlier, by the way, but okay, here's the soldier. You got to try and take him on.
I wanted to show as much of the gameplay, so I skipped the stories just for now.
Yeah, we are running out of time, sadly.
Zero's there.
Oh, are we a half-hour slot? I forgot.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're but at the same time, it's not a super solid time, so we can run over it by a couple minutes.
All right. Well, I'll show you a couple of things in a minute with some cheat keys when the battle's done. Then.
Yeah, whatever you want to show off, so people can see as much of this as possible.
Cool. Sorry, I thought it was an hour. My mistake.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I wish we had more time. We'd have we do this Devsolutely show every Sunday, and I wanted to still do it, but I didn't want to run the Supershow directly into that because I'm so tired.
You're so crazy.
Oh.
so I need to end this a little bit before that starts, just so I can take a little bit of a break.
Cool.
So I had to kind of squish the last 2 games in here that I really wanted to show. So.
Cool. So you get the idea that you've got a choice of 2 different weapons there, and they charge at different rates. We're also going to have stuff like some weapons can do piercing damage, other ones can cause bleeding, stuff like that. You can stun them with bludgeoning weapons, which means they miss a turn, of course. So there's all this kind of standard sort of turn-based stuff in there.
Have you?
Let's do it.
Have you done this as a multiplayer thing? Have you tried that as a concept?
No, we haven't. We certainly could do, because of course the AI could be replaced by human. Multiplayer online code's kind of bitching though, even if it's turn-based, and it's something we could consider if this whole concept goes down well. But at the moment, it's going to be single player versus AI. Right, let's do some. Oh yeah, you buy that hat. Click on the hat.
Okay.
And then you can chuck that on her head. just drag it over there.
Yep.
That's a passive ability. Click that if you want.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, and you can drag it in at one of these other slots. So yeah,
okay.
you build a selection.
Okay.
There's also going to be an upgrade system. So if you click the character tab, you can see there are in the top right, you've got the character tab.
Mhm.
You can see there are various stats. So you'll be able to level those up, and each of those will have an effect upon the gameplay as well. Try pressing F2.
Nothing.
Oh, go back to inventory on the top. Yeah, now you've got loads of items down the bottom. So you can scroll through and see, different weapons going on here.
Gotcha.
And if you go further across, we've got...
Well, so some of them say, like, so you have slashing damage versus the ranged... bludgeoning and stuff.
Yeah,
Ooh,
for sure.
throwable.
And you've got bombs. We've got some interesting bombs and things like soap, which causes the enemy to drop their weapon. Wig powder, which blinds them. Snuff powder, which gives them some sort of coughing fits and weakness.
Oh, this can get intense.
So,
okay.
There's going to be all sorts of kind of interesting stuff. They're placeholder, those cards. If you scroll across a little bit more, you'll see a lot of the outfit items. Oh, they're different abilities. We're cheating at the moment. The shop wouldn't normally have this many things.
For sure. Adds Q and K to the stock. I could see this getting pretty intense with multiplayer too. I mean, for future iterations and whatnot.
Yeah, we wanted to see do people get into this story. Yeah, and there's 46 different clothing items, 25 weapons, loads of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you just for one final minute, if you escape from this screen, press U, which causes you to unlock stuff. Now can you see a fifth card on the right if you click that? Cool. Yeah, you can skip this story and so on. So we've got loads of really nice backgrounds, a whole kind of cool story to go with it all. If you press number 9, that would take you to a level with an enemy that shows up. He's called Rich Turnpike. Yeah. If you skip this, you'll see you can fight him, and he's got 2 guns, so he's pretty mean.
And he's got the armor as well.
Yeah. So as you gain clothing, obviously you get different defense abilities. Boom. So there's all kind of different enemies. We've got executioners. We've got a washerwoman who's got a bat who whacks you. We've got a fencing swordsman. We've got a posh lady on a horse with a whip. We've got all kinds of different stuff going on. So we think it's going to be pretty fun. We're showing it off at PC Gamer Weekender in London next week. I'll be at GDC with it. Okay. If any press want to look, and we're showing it at Rezzed in April when it's launching in Q2, published by Positech Games of Democracy and Gratuitous Space Battles.
I can see the limitation on my knife right now. He can't do any damage because he has 2 armor and it only does 2 damage.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, I know we've run out of time, but look, thanks very much for trying both the games out.
Absolutely, thank you for sharing. I mean, honestly, I love stuff like this because it's stuff I wouldn't naturally just pick up on my own, but you see it and you realize there's a whole other world of games out there that you'd enjoy.
That's what the Supershow is for. It's because this is such a cool and intriguing and innovative concept that you might look at it and go, oh, Solitaire, and not give it a second thought.
Yeah.
And this is me telling you, ha!
I'm sorry.
Stupid.
I just realized I was blocking the cleavage. I'm gonna move over for a moment.
Uh-oh.
You could just rest your head there.
It's been nice. I felt immediately like I was at home.
That people do look at sort of at the theme and the graphics and so on, and hear about this and do give it a chance. That's really what we need.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna post the link to. I think I did this. Yes. There's a link to the website, shadowhandgame.com,
right, great.
Right in chat. So you can grab that.
All right, I'm going to post in a Regency Solitaire link because that's already out on Steam. Yeah. So and thank you so much for playing.
By purchasing Regency Solitaire, you're supporting the development of Shadowhand.
You sure are.
Oh, what do you know?
That's how it works.
Well, Jake, thank you so much. For coming on to the show and for showing your game and for making it. I really wish you guys the best of luck.
Thanks. Yeah, keep an eye out for it. Thanks, everyone. Have a good